So, how many of you here know how to swim? That's most of you. Who here can remember what it was like before you knew how to swim? I remember a time when I didn't know how to swim and I'd been holding on to something, and then what I was holding on to was taken away. Maybe some of you have also had an experience like that, where there's that sudden, now you're in the water and you don't know how to do anything. You can move all your legs in all the different directions and it's not going to help because you don't know what to do. It's a pretty terrifying feeling. And who here has ever been out on a boat when the wind was getting pretty strong? That too can be a pretty uncomfortable feeling, right? Especially if you're in a smallish boat. Sometimes people are certain that the boat is going to capsize or something, and you know, the person who maybe has a little more experience is saying, actually no, this is fine, this boat can handle this. But it can be pretty easy to believe that there's no way this tiny little boat in this great big lake or this great big ocean is going to be enough. Water can be a really scary thing. And Peter, in the story that we just heard, did something that totally defies what we would think of as the normal course of action when you're in a small boat in a big stormy lake and you probably don't know how to swim. You know, the rest of the disciples were probably holding on to the boat for dear life, but Peter said, Lord, if that's you, command me to get out of the boat and walk on the water. You know, in the best of times, none of us can walk on water. This was a storm. It was crazy courage. That was insane courage that he had. And did his courage pay off? On the one hand, well, he started sinking. But then on the other hand, the Lord caught him. Now, of course, the Lord isn't particularly concerned about whether any of us here are able to walk on water. Bottom line is we can't. But are we asked to have courage sometimes? Crazy courage? Insane courage that flies in the face of what seems like the sensible thing to do? Cling to the boat? Yes, that is a part of having faith, isn't it? That courage to do things that just seem like we're not supposed to be able to do them. A lot of things about believing in the Lord require that, actually. It can be really hard and take a tremendous amount of courage to believe in what the Lord teaches when we meet something in the world around us that says that's ridiculous or that's wrong or how can you believe that? To continue to have faith and to say, I'm actually not going to just hide in the boat and cling onto it. I'm going to get out and walk my faith in the face of that storm. That's crazy courage. And of course, the storm isn't always on the outside either. The storm is actually more often on the inside. There's a storm when all the evil spirits say, you can't do this. You can't change who you are. You can't become a better person. You can't actually live this. And we need to have the crazy courage to get out of the boat and try. And then the message of the story, it almost seems like, well, but Peter tried and he failed, so that's not encouraging, right? But the Lord was right there, and he caught him. And in fact, Peter couldn't have even walked on the water in the first place unless the Lord had been right there, giving him strength. This walk of faith, this crazy courage that we're called to, it is actually too much for us. We can't walk on water. We can't change who we are. We can't quiet the storm all by ourselves. And the wonderful thing is that we're not supposed to, because the Lord is always right there. But if we can start, if we can try, that's when the Lord has the opportunity to give us the power to do something that maybe seemed impossible. And if it gets to be too much for us, which it probably will sometime, that's when the Lord's there. That's when the Lord can say, you're okay. Why did you doubt? The Lord asks, why did you doubt? Because I was always right here. The Lord is always right there. And if we're willing to get out and walk, get out and try it, He'll catch us if we start to sink. Amen.